I spent most of my life living in the United States, and I want to show you my favorite places. So here is my USA Top 25. The US is an incredible country, from the beautiful Hawaiian Islands to the wild rock formations of the Southwest. Each part of the US has something unique to offer that deserves a visit. Let's start this video off at beautiful Lake Tahoe. I have to say that it is my favorite lake in the USA. Located right on the Nevada and California border, Lake Tahoe is the second deepest lake in America, with a depth of over 1,600 feet, which is absolutely massive. What I love about this lake is how clear the water is and how stunningly blue it looks. It is also famous for having smooth granite rocks that peek out of the water. A great place to go is Sand Harbor Beach. It is full of clear water and tons of Lake Tahoe rocks. It is an ideal place to swim and paddleboard. My wife and I were there back in May. Even though the water was freezing cold, it was still fun to go there and enjoy the scenery. If you go, I would recommend visiting in July or August so the water can warm up a little. After that, we are going to head over to Yosemite National Park. Located about a 4-hour drive from Lake Tahoe, Yosemite is one of the most stunning national parks in the country. It is famous for its massive granite cliffs, clear streams, and powerful waterfalls. One of the coolest features of the park is Half Dome. It is this gigantic piece of granite that rises over 5,000 feet from the valley below. One side is a sheer cliff, while the other half has the appearance of a rounded dome. One of the most famous waterfalls in the park is Yosemite Falls. It is one of the tallest in the world, with its upper falls reaching 1,430 feet high. One of the more peculiar waterfalls in the park is Horsetail Falls. During mid-February, the setting sun hits the water just right, creating the illusion of a firefall. Yosemite is home to some of the most beautiful spots in the US, and I hope you all get the chance to visit. From Yosemite, we are going to head to the coast to visit Big Sur. Located along the Pacific 101 highway, Big Sur is one of America's most scenic drives. It is known for its winding turns, seaside cliffs, and views of the misty coastline. One of the coolest places in Big Sur is the Bixby Creek Bridge. It is one of California's most photographed bridges, and you will understand why when you see it in person. Big Sur is also home to McWave Falls, an 80-foot waterfall that drops directly onto the beach below. If you keep driving south on the 101, you will reach the Elephant Seal Vista Point. It is a beach filled with thousands of elephant seals. They are some of the largest and strangest animals I have ever seen. Depending on the time of year, they may be sleeping on the beach or fighting each other, which is pretty wild to witness. While we are still in California, we are going to visit the California redwoods. The redwoods are the tallest trees in the world, with the tallest reaching 379 feet high. There are groves of redwoods scattered along the Northern California coast, and there are many places to see them. I went to Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park. We explored the grove, and I was completely blown away by the size of the trees. Not only were the trees amazing, but the entire atmosphere felt surreal. The trees blocked out most of the sunlight, and the ground was covered in ferns that made it feel like you were walking through a Jurassic Park movie. It was truly a magical place. After exploring California, we are going to make the drive up to Oregon. I have to say that Oregon is one of my favorite states. It is home to massive volcanoes and countless waterfalls. My wife and I did a road trip through the state about a month ago, and it was extremely enjoyable. Oregon has some of the best coastline in the USA. I highly recommend driving along the 101 Coastal Highway. One of my favorite stops was a place called Meyer Beach. It had massive rock formations, and we had the beach completely to ourselves. Another scenic spot is the Samuel H. Boardman Scenic Corridor. In my opinion, It is one of the most beautiful places on the Oregon coast. If you continue driving up the 101, you will eventually reach Cannon Beach. When people think of Oregon, they often think of Cannon Beach. I remember first seeing this place in Steven Spielberg's movie The Goonies, and I've wanted to go ever since, because it is famous for its Haystack Rock. It is this massive 235-foot sea stack that rises straight out of the ocean. In 2013, it was listed as one of the world's 100 most beautiful places by National Geographic, and I totally understand why. It is a wonderful beach to relax on or jump into the water if you can handle the cold. After Oregon, we are going to head up to neighboring Seattle, located in the state of Washington. Seattle has to be one of my favorite cities. I just love how it is built right on the Puget Sound, contrasted with a skyline full of skyscrapers and a backdrop of the massive Mount Rainier. Now, one place you have to visit if you are in Seattle is Pike's Place. It is a public market that has been open for more than 100 years. It is full of fresh produce stands, unique shops, and the world's first Starbucks. I just love all the colors, smells, and the overall vibe. Pike's Place is also home to the Gum Wall. It might gross you out, but at least it is full of colors. After Seattle, we are going to head up north to visit Alaska. When you think of untamed wilderness, Alaska is it. It is a land full of some of the world's biggest mountains and glaciers, and it is one of the few places in the USA where you can see the aurora borealis. When I look at these landscapes, they are just so vast and untouched. It is unbelievable. One popular form of transportation there is by helicopter or bush plane, because some spots are so remote. So if you ever want to escape the chaos of the world, Alaska may be the place you have to go. After Alaska, we are heading over to Hawaii to visit the island of Oahu. Of all the Hawaiian islands, I have to say Oahu is my favorite. I lived there for over 8 months on the North Shore, and it was some of the greatest times of my life. If you love hiking, surfing, or adventures, Oahu is the place for you. One of the most popular places on Oahu is Waikiki. It is a perfect combination of city and ocean. The beach is lined with high-rise hotels and shops, and it is a perfect place to surf and catch some waves. Another one of the most famous places on Oahu is the North Shore. The North Shore is 17 miles of coastline that is home to some of the greatest surfing in the world. One of the most well-known beaches on the North Shore is the Banzai Pipeline. The waves are created by a super sharp and dangerous reef that causes them to break just right during the winter months. Some of the most popular surfing competitions are held here, and the waves can reach over 20 feet high. When there aren't crazy waves, I love swimming on the North Shore. The water is so clear, and the waves are just such a fun time to swim in. While we're still in Hawaii, we're going to head over to the island of Kauai. Of all the Hawaiian islands, Kauai is the oldest, making it the most beautiful and diverse. It's nicknamed the Garden Island, and when you go there, you'll understand why. One of my favorite places is the Nepali coast. There are very few places in the world, if any, that match the beauty of this coastline. The Nepali coast is filled with sea cliffs that rise 3,000 feet from the ocean, contrasted with deep, narrow valleys that empty into the sea below. There are several ways to experience the Nepali coast. One of the best ways is by helicopter. Prices range from about $200 to $300 for a 50-minute tour, and you'll get some of the best views of the coastal cliffs and valleys. Another great way is through a boat tour. These range from 3 to 6 hours and cost upwards of $150 per person. If you're on a budget like me, there are plenty of hikes and lookout spots you can visit. One of my favorites is the Kalalau Lookout. Another amazing place to visit in Kauai is Waimea Canyon. nicknamed the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. It's over 10 miles long and 3,000 feet deep. I love the contrast between the red rock and the tropical vegetation. After exploring the Hawaiian Islands, we're going to head back to the continental U to visit iconic New York City. With its massive skyscrapers, diverse cultures, and fast-paced atmosphere, it's a place that truly needs to be experienced. I was fortunate enough to live in New York for a few months, and the city lifestyle quickly grew on me. One of my favorite places in the city is the Brooklyn Bridge. It's one of the most photogenic locations in all of New York. This massive bridge connects Brooklyn to Manhattan. It was completed in 1883 and has become one of the city's most popular attractions. I love walking across it and enjoying the view of Manhattan and the water below. It's great during the day and even more stunning at night when the city lights are glowing. One of the most famous places in New York City is Times Square. It's one of the world's most popular tourist attractions, bringing in over 50 million visitors each year. It's full of thousands of lights, advertisements, street performers, and endless energy. You can easily walk around for hours and still find something new to see. If you want a nature break from the city, you can explore Central Park. Opened in 1876, it's home to beautiful bridges, walking paths, and bike trails. It's a peaceful and stunning contrast to the hectic city life around it. After exploring New York, we're going to head over to the nearby region of New England. Located in the northeastern part of the U.S., New England consists of Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Maine. New England is one of the most historic regions in the country. It's where the Pilgrims settled in 1620 and where the Revolutionary War began. It's a fascinating region rich in history and culture. The most populous city in New England is Boston, located in Massachusetts. Boston is one of the oldest cities in the U.S., founded in 1630 by Puritan settlers. Historic events such as the Boston Tea Party took place here during the Revolutionary War. Today, Boston is a thriving city and home to world-renowned universities like Harvard and MIT. Vermont is also home to historical towns such as Brattleboro. Now, another one of my favorite states in New England is Maine. Maine is the northeasternmost point in the U.S., as it borders Canada. It's famous for its scenic coastline filled with lighthouses and lobster shacks. One of my favorite cities in Maine is Portland. It's a charming city on Maine's coast that was first settled in 1623 by European settlers. Today, it's known for its old port district and harbor. One of the coolest places there is the Portland Head Light, a historic lighthouse built all the way back in 1791, making it the oldest lighthouse in Maine. Another beautiful place in the state is Acadia National Park. It is mostly located on Mount Desert Island. The park is full of granite peaks, rocky coastlines, and tons of beautiful trees. I have to say, it's one of the most impressive national parks on the East Coast. After Maine, we're going to the opposite side of the country to visit the Florida Keys. The Florida Keys are a coral archipelago just off southern Florida. It's basically the American version of the Bahamas. What's really impressive is that all the islands are connected by a road, making it one of the coolest drives in the United States. I was in Florida in December, and I really wanted to drive all the way to the end of the Keys. When you drive on the bridges, you can see the blue Caribbean Sea. One of the most impressive bridges is the 7-Mile Bridge. At the time of its construction, it was one of the longest bridges in the world. It really feels like it never ends. The final destination in the Keys takes you to Key West, the southernmost city in the continental United States. We spent sunset swimming at Fort Zachary Taylor State Park Beach, and it was the perfect way to end the day. After Florida, we head to Wyoming to visit Yellowstone National Park. I went there a few weeks ago, and it was a magical experience. One of the most famous places in Yellowstone is the Grand Prismatic Spring. It's the third largest hot spring in the world, with a depth of 160 feet, and from above it displays a stunning rainbow of colors. You can walk on the platforms around it, but the best view comes from the Grand Prismatic Spring Overlook hike. Another iconic spot is Old Faithful, one of the world's most famous geysers because of its reliability. It erupts about every 90 minutes, sending boiling water up to 185 feet in the air. You can also drive to the Upper Falls, one of the most powerful waterfalls I've ever seen. A less popular but equally stunning spot is Mammoth Hot Springs. I went there early in the morning, and it was magical with mist rising from the hot spring terraces. While still in Wyoming, we head to Grand Teton National Park, which is one of my favorite parks. I love the incredible scenery and the jagged peaks of the Grand Tetons. One of my favorite hikes is to Delta Lake. It's challenging, but at the top you're rewarded with a bright blue glacier lake, backed by the massive Grand Teton Peak. I jumped in the water. It was some of the coldest I've ever felt, but nothing makes you feel more alive than a polar plunge in glacier water. If you want something easier, you can take a ferry across Jenny Lake and hike to the waterfall. Next, we drive 2 hours to Idaho to visit the St. Anthony Sand Dunes. This place is bizarre. Over 10,000 acres of sand dunes right next to farmland. Some dunes reach 400 feet high, and it's perfect for dune buggies and dirt bikes. My grandparents live nearby, so I've been many times. Every time I go, it feels like Dubai or somewhere exotic. It's an epic place you have to visit in Idaho. After Idaho, we head to Utah to see the Bonneville Salt Flats, about 2 hours west of Salt Lake City. It's 30,000 acres of salt-covered ground with no vegetation, just white salt and mountains in the distance. It's been featured in movies like Pirates of the Caribbean. I love coming here to mess around, take photos, or even jump over my car because the surface is so flat. This is also where the world's fastest land speed record was set. If you visit, be careful driving, because your car can sink if the salt is wet. When it rains, the flats become the world's largest mirror, a truly surreal sight. Next, we go to New Mexico to see Shiprock. This is one of the most unique rock formations I've ever seen. Thanks to my friend David Enrule for the amazing footage. What makes it special are the volcanic spines that lead up to the rock. You can clearly see them from Google Earth. The Navajo people consider Shiprock sacred and call it the rock with wings. While still in the southwest, we visit Lake Powell, which is honestly one of the coolest man-made lakes in the world. It sits right on the border of Utah and Arizona, and, it's even been called America's Lost National Park. It kind of feels like the Grand Canyon, but just filled with water. Created back in 1960, a lot of families come out here and rent houseboats for weeks during the summer. It's just perfect for wakeboarding, boating, and, if you're feeling brave, cliff jumping. I really hope everyone gets a chance to visit one day. And right near Lake Powell, there's Horseshoe Bend. It's this stunning curve in the Colorado River surrounded by these massive cliffs. Just about 20 minutes away is Antelope Canyon, which is honestly one of the most beautiful slot canyons in the world. From above, it just looks like a normal desert, but once you're inside, you see these incredible sculpted sandstone walls, all formed by flash floods over thousands of years. For our final destination, we're heading back to Utah to visit Zion National Park. And, honestly, pictures just don't do it justice. Zion's famous for its towering red cliffs that rise thousands of feet above you. One of the most iconic hikes there is Angel's Landing. It's a 5-mile round trip, and it's known for its steep drop-offs and a chain-assisted trail. We crossed the Virgin River, climbed up these steep switchbacks, and finally made it to the top. I actually did it in winter, so yeah, parts of the trail were icy. I brought my 360 camera along to try and capture every angle. The view from the top totally blew my mind. You can see the entire Zion Canyon. I mean, if you can handle heights, I really recommend checking it out. That's it for my USA Top 25. Let me know your favorite place in the United States down in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end, and hey, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.